Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. Oh my goodness, we have a new palette from a company that I haven't actually tried before. It's a nice little indie brand. It's called Cosmic Brushes, and this is their Serenity palette. Oh, and if you know me, this is the sort of colour story that makes me like, well, insert verb here. Anyways, gorgeous colour story, and yeah, this video is all about some swatches, a tutorial of this look. I know, aren't you lucky? And then I'll be telling you guys what I think of this palette overall. So if that sounds good to you, then do please keep on watching. Did I need a new eyeshadow palette? Well, according to my bank balance, no. Also, according to my vast makeup collection, also no. But according to my heart, yes. Yes, I did. So, we have the Cosmic Brushes beautiful Serenity palette. Let's give a little play. So I'm just taking this BH Cosmetics liner brush and I'm going into this black, which is called Mystical. And you'll see that this is another one of those lazy can't be arsed videos because I just end up using like the same brush quite a few times. This is quite a pigmented black, which is part of why I'm going in quite gently with it. There, Bessie. There. So I'm just mapping out kind of under the eye as well. I have put concealer down here as well, and then up to here. As you can see, nice pigmented black. And after that incredibly taxing job, same brush again, and I'm going into the shade Mood. So I'm just kind of starting a little bit further along under the lash line and just bringing it underneath. And this is quite a nice kind of deep, almost sapphire-y blue. Apparently I can't talk today. A sapphire blue. Jesus, Teresa. And just popping that along there. Now, because these are quite close in tone, they do actually blend out quite well. Trust me, everything's fine. It'll all work out okay. And just kind of popping that just in there. But again, you can see I'm not like going at it really hard, and yet I'm still getting a nice amount of pigment, which is not what you would expect off an eyeshadow palette which cost £20. Well done them. Same brush again, and I'm going into the shade River, and I'm just popping that there and basically following the same sort of things I was doing before. I'm bringing it just under. Now this is a little bit more teal leaning than the last shade, but it's difficult to see initially. Like they do look very, very close to each other when they're on the eye, but I will point out they are actually quite different, and the reason why they currently look so similar is because I've put them on really, really lightly. So that is what is going on. And then same brush again, and I'm going into the shade Echo. And for quite a pale blue, it packs quite the punch. Like it is very pigmented. I was quite surprised. Like there was points where I was blending that out, like on the other eye, that it was kind of half submerging the others, and I was like, okay, well this is an interesting little development. And popping that there. Yeah, very, very pigmented. As you can see, look, do you see how that kind of like almost overcomes that shade there? That's nuts, isn't it? And then I'm just taking the Sigma E35, it's a tapered blending brush, and I'm going into the shade Echo again. And this, my friends, is where you really see just how pigmented it is. Like, look at that. A lot of pigment on that. So I am starting out there and blending it towards the eye. Loads of pigment on this, which is so surprising considering it's such a pale colour. But I am attempting to semi-blend it now. Don't worry about the under eye, that'll come now in a minute. One thing at a time, friends, one thing at a time. Yeah, you can see there's a good bit of colour there. I'm just picking up a bit more. You can see how much it really does just like, not quite overpower, but it does kind of work over the rest. It's kind of nuts for like such a light colour that it has that much of a pigment. This, like I was looking at this palette and I was thinking to myself, this is kind of what I wanted the Watch the Queen Conquer to be from P. Louise, but of course it never worked properly on me. But this, the formula seems to be agreeing with me, which, hooray! Although for £20 I wouldn't have been wildly annoyed if it hadn't. I'd have just been like, oh dear, another one for the pile, peasants. I don't know why peasants are involved there, but apparently they are. There you go. Or pheasants. And yes, I am highly aware that this all looks manic right now, but don't worry. I'm taking the Sigma E36 little blending brush and I'm just going down here. You can see they do actually blend quite nicely together. And just bringing it down under the lash line. And I'm going to take a little bit of echo on that as well. Just to give the illusion of more blending. So you can see there how nicely it blends. I'm now taking a BH Cosmetics small precision brush and I'm going into the shade River. And this is where you're going to see that this is actually more of a teal kind of a colour than the sapphire of the other blue. So I'm just popping that there and just going back and forth and blending it out towards where echo is. Again, a nice amount of pigmentation there. I do like a blue toned palette. Even though technically the rule is, you know, if you have blue eyes, don't wear blue. And I'm like, screw you rules, I'll do what I want. Although I don't really have blue eyes, I have like, I don't know, grey bastarding eyes. I don't know what they're pointless. They don't even see well. The annoying thing about doing makeup, I'm like, I can't even really see what I'm doing right now. So, all a bit of guesswork. You can see there, that does blend pretty well. I know I have the harsh line here, but that's for future Teresa. That's more just so I know kind of where to blend stuff out. That's for me, don't worry. In the immortal words of the farmer from Babe, that'll do, pig, that'll do. I'm just going to take the Spectrum B11 and I'm going to go into the shade Mood. And I am just popping that there. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Don't have to explain. Purple monkey dishwasher or whatever. Yeah, you can see here that adds that little bit of extra depth that River didn't necessarily have. Kind of gives it more of a cool tone than a warm tone. You can really see how easily these do like mesh with each other, which hooray, because I'm a lazy bitch and I don't want to be spending forever trying to get these all to like blend and work with each other. Oh, we love a lazy bitch palette. And now I'm using my Zoeva 225 and I'm going back into the shade Mystical. And you really don't want to take too much of this on because look, it's quite black, which you would hope for in a black. But I'm being super, super light-handed here because I'm terrified of bad things happening. So yeah, just deepening that out a little bit further and kind of bringing it up. And then I'm just taking the Spectrum B07 and I'm going into the shade Twilight, which incidentally does remind me of like the blue from the Midnight palette, you know, from Lotus Cosmetics. Now, I will say if you're using these shimmers, you probably would want to put down like the glitter glue because I'm just taking this loose on a very fluffy brush. Now, I don't really want to get the pigment off it. I just want to get like a vague amount of sparkle. And I'm just popping that on the outer corner there. And you can see you get a little bit of sparkle, but like I said, I didn't want a lot from this. But if you look at how it looks on the finger, I mean, that's pretty nice. And now I'm taking this little fan brush and I'm going into the shade Serenity. And I am just popping that up there. Again, you know, these I'd say are better used on a glitter glue. But you still get your nice little subtle whisper there of the shim, which is perfect for what I'm doing right now. And then I'm using my Zoeva 225 again, and all I'm doing is I'm not taking anything else on, I'm just kind of patting that out rather. Oh, I was saying papping, I'm not giving it a smear test, my god. I'm just popping that there, just so that the glitter and the shimmer isn't quite as obvious. I don't want it to kind of like totally overcome like the niceness of the mattes. I'm now taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade Pixie. And this is quite a pigmented sort of a purple. So I'm just popping that there and you'll see just how well that actually meshes with the blues. There's no real problem with blending them. They almost like blend straight away. Like, lads, stop fraternising. They're the two people at like the nightclub that just are gross and have their hands all over each other. That's a good step at you. And then taking the exact same brush again, I'm going into the shade Awake. And this is quite a nice like blue toned pale purple. I quite like this. I wonder how this would be for like a blush. I don't know, I've seen so many purple blushes lately that like my head just keeps being turned by them. Again, you can see this one blends pretty nicely, no major fuss there, which I like. Again, because I'm lazy. And now I'm taking this BH liner brush again and I'm going into the shade Make a Wish. And I'm just kind of bringing some of that shadow down here and then having it meet up there. I know, I'm doing a weird shape, I don't know what's happening. But nice amount of pigment on this, I have to say, I was quite impressed. A very lazy cut crease has been done. Because it's me. I'm using my Zoeva 238 and I'm going into the shade Sorbet. And if you know me, you will know that this is the shade that got me super excited. So I was like, oh, this needs to go onto my lids. And it's really nice, really pigmented. I did pack it on quite a bit onto the other eye. And that's mostly just because I have, I think, quite dry eyelids at the moment. I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming it's the aging process. I'm also like really hot all of the time, so I'm like, is this early menopause? TMI? Possibly. But there you go, that's what you get. You clicked on this channel and it's your own fault. I accept no responsibility for my own actions. And now I'm taking the same brush again and I'm going into the shade Moss. And this is just such a lovely, swampy, grungy green. Like poop. Like a poopy green. Yeah, I can understand why Cosmic Brushes probably won't want to have anything to do with me. Like, why is she comparing this shade to poop? Only in the nicest possible way, you know? Who doesn't want to have a poopy colour on their eyelids? Nobody's sane. Well, nobody interesting. And then I'm just taking this same brush again and I'm going into Wanderer. And I'm just kind of popping that on the lid there where the two shades meet. Just to give a little bit of extra dimension or something. Okay, it's a very subtle shimmer. I really do think that with these you're going to want to put on a glitter primer, which is fine, like that's what I would normally do. But I don't want to do this right now. Not for this look. And I'm taking a different Zoeva 235 and this time I'm going into the shade Opal, and oh my god, it is spectacular. This is one of those shades that is like, I would get the palette just for this shade. It is this beautiful, almost fluorescent sort of green, like when you put it on. Like, oh, it's so pretty. And this one's very pigmented. Unlike the rest of the shimmers, I don't think that with this one that you need any sort of a glitter primer, which is nice. Yeah, you can see loads of pigment there on that. Hopefully. And if not, just take my word for it. I need to figure out how to capture said shimmers on my eyelid. But all I can say is that right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, sorry, stay on track. Right here, right now, they look fabulous. And then I'm taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm just gonna go from, now actually I'll take a bit of Opal onto the brush and just sweep it over and begin the meshing process. Whee! And now I'm just taking this dew colour 09 with nothing on it and I'm just swishing back and forward between that green and where the black blue is. So we have a more gentle sort of a transition. But there you go, that is it. I've done everything. I'm going to feck off now, finish the rest of the face, and I will tell you what I think of the palette. Excellent. When in doubt, glue things to your face. Okay, so I want to tell you about, when I was talking about this palette with Tia on Releases and Rants, which if you don't watch, you should watch. We were talking about, well, she said that this shade didn't make sense to her. And I was like, oh my god, it's going to make a bomb blush. So, had to use it. It's the shade Oasis. Beautiful. And I went in with Opal as well as a little bit of a highlight. I wanted to go for something relatively subtle because the eyes are kind of doing the whole talking. And speaking of, I will zoom you in now so you can see the rest of the look. Did I stick some gems to myself? Yes. Did I get those holographic stickers? Yes, I did. And I enjoyed myself. I mean, everything blended really, really well. I think it all comes together quite cohesively. Yay, gems and holographic stickers. Anyways, let's get to talking about what I think of the palette. The glasses are back on and I feel more like myself again. Let us talk about this. Now, obviously, I didn't use the entire palette, but I used a considerable chunk of it, you know. I'm quite pleased with myself. I love the tones of these, like those grungy greens. I would kind of prefer if this sorbet shade was maybe a little bit brighter because I had to put like opal on top. Not had to, but I think it kind of helped it pop that little bit more. That being said, that's just a teeny tiny little bit of a meh. Beautiful kind of a grungy shimmer here. Black performs so well. Very, very happy with that. That pastel-y blue, what? It's so good. It's so, so good. I was super impressed with this. For a £20 palette, I think that you will be quite pleased. I'm just after noticing there's like dust on one of my brushes. Not a good housekeeper. Anyways, for £20, I think this is excellent. I find it very, very difficult to fault. I think maybe the one thing I would say is the shimmers, you're gonna struggle to use them alone without a glitter primer. But to be fair, most of us are using glitter primers anyways. Like, and even if you don't, like that one is particularly fabulous. So I'm really happy with this. I would say a solid 9.5 out of 10. I'm taking the 0.5 off just because I'd prefer maybe a more creamy sort of a shimmer formula, but like it works really well. Like I'm not gonna bash it for that. I've had such a good run of palettes recently. This is so fabulous. And again, like I said, if you've watched releases and rants, you will know that my gorgeous, beautiful friend Tia actually has an affiliate link, and you can use her code for some sweet, sweet money off. The code is TIA10, but I'm going to have all of that written down below in the description box if you want to get this, because thankfully, this is not a limited edition. This is going to be part of their collection for a long time, to which I'm like, thank you. I hate companies that are doing the FOMO. Drives me nuts. But this is fabulous. I really enjoyed it. Worked really, really well. Totally my kind of aesthetic and colour story. But that is it. That is the end of the video. And do please like, comment and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell because it's just polite. And do please share, because sharing is caring. Unless, of course, it's an STD, in which case, you know, wrap it up. Don't be gross. That's it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.